One important part of FSHN 101 is learning the science behind the food we eat. In today's video, I will talk about 5 important scientific concepts as they apply to food that I have learned this year in FSHN 101. The first scientific concept we'll talk about is when making butter cookies, why must the dough be chilled before it is baked? Well, the dough is chilled to solidify the fat, which is why we use butter because it's a fat. We don't use oil, and if you run out of butter, you cannot use oil because oil will change the consistency of your cookies so drastically that it won't be very crunchy. When the fat is more solid, again, because it's butter, and when it's colder and makes it more solid, it melts slowly when baked, allowing the lipid or fat to spread out more evenly, which is why we have great cookies. The second scientific concept we'll talk about is when making vanilla cake, why do we beat our eggs in a bowl? We do this step because beating eggs allows air to get into our cake dough, aerating the dough, which results in a fluffy cake. And here, we end up creating not big air bubbles, but tiny ones that result from us tapping and beating our eggs. The third scientific concept we'll talk about is high fructose corn syrup, and the potential side effects this sugar alternative can have on your gut. HFCS is a source of energy for the bacteria in our intestines. The absorption is facilitated by glucose and other monosaccharides, and the efficiency of fructose absorption is increased because of the glucose that is present. However, if fructose is not properly absorbed, it will be fermented in the colon or excreted in feces. We don't want this to happen. This will not be ideal for our stomachs because it will cause gas to be produced and cause overall stomach discomfort. The fourth scientific concept we'll talk about is starch gelatinization in French fries. French fries need to be fried in oil, and when heated to at least 80 degrees Celsius, the starch inside of the fry will gelatinize. Starch gelatinization ends up inflating the French fry starch granules because of water entering them. Starch gelatinization also breaks hydrogen bonds between the starch molecules and allows new hydrogen bonds between the starch and water molecules to form. Starch gelatinization makes the French fry more enjoyable and digestible for us to eat. The final scientific concept we'll talk about is when we make sun tea, why is the tea boiled after being left in direct sunlight for a couple of hours? The reason why we do this is because we don't want to consume harmful bacteria from our tea. Many believe that putting the tea in direct sunlight heats up the water and creates a delicious tea without the need to boil our water. However, sunlight doesn't affect the flavor or make the tea making process faster because the water doesn't get hot enough. It only gets to about 130 degrees Fahrenheit, which is part of the danger zone of 40 degrees to 140 degrees, which can allow bacteria to grow. When we boil the tea, we know for a fact that our tea will be safe to drink. I hope you enjoyed this brief lesson on 5 different scientific concepts we learned about in FSHN 101.